Hi there, welcome to OH-Brew. I'm Craig Morris and I like beer. And today we're in Akron, Ohio at Missing Falls Brewery. Let's take a look and see what they have inside.
This episode of OH-Brew is sponsored by Beer and Ale Traveler. They'll drive you to drink in style. Let Beer and Ale Traveler plan your next brewery or winery tour. Choose from their pre-planned tours or sit down with Rick to customize a tour for your group. And remember, you don't have to drive yourself. Ride in comfort in their limo-type bus with 2 flat-screen TVs and a rockin' sound system. Need transportation for a concert, birthday, or bachelorette party? Whatever the occasion, call Rick to set it up.
Welcome to OH-Brew. My name is Craig Morris and we are here at Missing Falls Brewery in Akron. Beautiful facility here. Mark joining us today. Why don't we get started by talking about the history of the brewery and how you guys get started. I heard the word homebrew in the very beginning.
Yeah. Well, years ago I was just homebrewing as a hobby, and I'd pretty much make a batch a week, just so I could have beer that I liked and didn't have to pay high prices for it. Plus, it became a hobby, and I really got into it. And with my day job, I ended up meeting a lot of different customers, and I met my one business partner, Will. And he heard that I homebrewed, and he's like, hey man, can I try one? So I brought him a couple bottles. And I think it was actually this beer we have here, the Scottish Wee Heavy. And he really liked it, and he asked one day, hey, can you teach me how to brew? So I was like, yeah, stop on over on the weekend. So pretty much every weekend, we just make beer.
So you start out with a little kit.
I started out with one of those little boxes was bought to me, bought as a gift once, and I tried the beer in the box kit, and just like every other beer in the box kit, it kind of came out disgusting. So then I stopped down at the local homebrew shop and walked out with a little 3-gallon stove system, a couple of buckets, a couple of pumps, started making kit beer from them, and then just started figuring out how to write my own recipes, kind of looking around and reading through books at that time. And there really wasn't much on the internet at that time when I was homebrewing. So once we moved from kits, I moved up from 3 gallons, 6 gallons. By the time Will met me, I was on I think it was a 10-gallon Herm system I was running in my garage. And everything there was it was kind of set up like we got stuff now, so it was just a miniaturized version of, an actual working brewery, minus, we had fermenters, but they weren't jacketed, so we had to temperature control them ourselves. But other than that,
I bet that was fun.
We actually purchased a walk-in cooler on a auction site. I got it for really cheap from an old pizza shop. We put that in my garage to act as our cold storage for our fermenter if we needed to lager, or just keep the kegs in there, and we'd swing the temperature just as we needed. And it was a little 6-foot by 6-foot walk-in, and it served its purpose for its time while we had the beers in there. And then we just kept working from there, and Will had a couple friends that I ended up meeting that also did home brewing too. And they had like their little homebrew clique, and we had ours, so we'd get together and we'd do compilation beers together. And we realized that all 4 of us really made some good beers, and I was always serious about opening a brewery. So we all kind of got on the same page, and then for about the next 1.5 years to almost 2 years, we'd brew every weekend in my garage and just sort of brainstorm and talk about what if. And we just really got serious about it one spring, and we met up with another fellow that owns a brewery and kind of picked his brain a bit and kind of got like a little idea of what we needed to accomplish, and then from there just pushed forward and created what we have here. But that wasn't an easy road either. That took about, from the ideas to done, maybe about 2.5, almost 3 years.
To get to where you are now.
To get to where we are just now. And it was a lot to do. We didn't have big investors. We didn't have a lot of money ourselves, so we had to pretty much put up property, and we had to file for SBA backing to get a bank to even consider us for a startup business loan. Even then, that took probably about 8 months to get a bank to bite on, and then work with the bank through everything to finally get our loan approval. So it was a lot to do. There was a lot of paperwork, a lot of, everything but brewing to do. And we made our mistakes along the way, rented a location that we thought was going to work, and sort of put the cart before the horse and signed a year lease on this location, and then it turns out we couldn't house a brewery in there. It structurally wasn't sound enough, there wasn't enough power to bring in, and as we looked at the construction estimates to bring it up to par, it was just astronomical. So we ended up just sitting on that spot and started doing some planning and storage there, and located this spot and kept working on this and finally got in the door.
Okay. You say Will
Yes.
is your right-hand man?
Actually, all four of us are.
There's 4 total?
Yeah, we're all kind of
Okay.
equals in on this. We all have our own tasks and what we need to do since it's grown into such a big entity now. And we all, three of us still have day priorities to do. Will works directly for the brewery now because that got too big to handle just on a part-time basis. So myself and Sean, we handle the brew house end of it, the front of the house and the kitchen. Kenny's all sanitation, equipment, grain. All three of us are here on brew days. So it really makes it a lot easier when you got more hands on deck. That way we all have our set tasks to do, and it just sort of works like clockwork.
So how did you land here in this facility that we're at right now?
A lot of looking around, talking with different, real estate brokers. I know at the same time, I think Ron was looking at this place too. So
Ron being
OH Brewing,
Okay.
who moved in.
All right.
So there was interest here, so we came down and we looked at probably 4 separate locations. And this seemed to be the location that fit our budget, at the size we needed. This was actually 2 tenant spots to begin with. There was a wall in between, and there was the back tenant still had some time left on their lease, so that delayed things a little bit more. Then we finally, got the space emptied out and moved in, and kind of took a look around and figured out what we were going to do. Sat down with our architect and probably had 3 or 4 different design renovations on where to locate the bar, where to locate the brew house, what to put here, what to put there. And it was just an evolving process. It changed several times, but we sort of had the idea of what we wanted it to look like. We didn't want to take a lot of history out of this building because it's an old, historic building, but we also wanted it to look, somewhat up to date,
Sure.
but still keep the history in the building.
How many seats does this place?
In the tap room itself, there's 125. Standing room, you could probably get another, 25, 30 in, just milling around. I know the front patio will house about 50, and we just got the new indoor patio out there. That'll probably hold maybe about 30.
Okay, and you are kid friendly.
Yes, definitely kid friendly.
Okay.
I'd have to say just family friendly. We've had everybody here from infant to probably 100 years old.
Dog friendly too?
Service animal, yes. Dogs on the patio, yes.
Okay.
Since we do have the open kitchen format, that restricts just
Sure.
regular
Yeah.
dogs running
That
around.
makes sense. Big, huge menu of pretty good food items too.
Yeah. We started off not having a kitchen. There's some complications with the building and the way the leases were wrote out at that time, whether or not we could build a kitchen. All that ended up getting resolved, and they gave us the thumbs up. And the way the building was looking at it, they're like, the more popular you make this building, the more people are going to want to come to this building.
Sure.
So they were happy about it. So we started off trying to do it ourselves. We had about 3 pizzas and 3 sandwiches off the get-go. It took maybe about a week before we realized that we're not kitchen people at all, especially when it really got busy. I mean, it's easy to make a sandwich or 2 a night, but when you got 60 of them, that really messes you up.
Especially when you make one and you want to eat that first.
Yeah, and these are, I know for myself, I have no kitchen experience in the commercial aspect. I mean, I could cook at home, but that's at my own pace. It's not at a fly pace. So we were fortunate enough to bring on a lot of good, experienced cooks, and we dwindled it down to where we need to be right now, and these guys can move in the kitchen. So we're up to probably about 15 different pizzas. There's got to be at least 15 different sandwiches. And we got a full line of appetizers. I know they're doing beer milkshakes. We got a couple new dessert lines coming out here shortly. So there's something for everybody on the menu.
So Mark, tell us about the name Missing Falls, where it comes from.
It started out just as kind of a sarcastic joke, essentially. When me and Will were looking into opening up a brewery, and we're just toying with the idea, and this was prior to bringing on Sean and Kenny as our other two partners. This is just when we're...
Before they pass their initiation?
Well, this is just really when we were just testing the waters to see what we needed to do. We're looking at the one rental spot that we did rent in Monroe Falls, because me and Will both live in Monroe Falls.
Okay.
Now, I wanted to call the brewery Small City Brewing Company, because I'm originally from Cleveland, which is a larger city, and I moved here, and you move from Cleveland to Monroe Falls, that's kind of a small city. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I didn't want to really use the name out loud, Small City, until I was able to kind of get it secured and get all, the trademarking I needed on it. But for us to even present to City Council in Monroe Falls that we wanted to open up a business, we had to state a business name and everything. So I was like, we'll just call ourselves Missing Falls, because the city of Monroe Falls took out the waterfall that it was known for in 2004. And the spot that we had rented was right next to where the waterfall would have been. So it's just kind of a little ripple in the water now that's there. So as a goof, we just came up with the name Missing Falls Brewery, and we used it. My brother's a graphic artist. I called him up, says, hey, I'm going to send you over a quick sketch of a logo I need. just do something really quick with it. So he shoots back the artwork that we still use to this day of the logo, and we went and made a nice little packet and went in front of, I think there was about 10 or 12 board members on the city council board for Monroe Falls, and we presented the whole business, the business plan, and the name, and of course they bid on it hook, line, and sinker. They're like, why'd you call it Missing Falls? And I'm like, well, y'all took out the waterfall. And they thought it was the greatest name ever. And it passed with, everyone voted yes on it. So we ended up just staying with that name instead of ever switching back.
That is very cool. Tell us about your brew house.
We're running a 7-barrel system. I got a steam system. So we got a hot liquids tank, we got our mash tun, and then we got our boil kettle. I've got 5 7-barrel fermenters, 1 7-barrel bright, and right now we're looking to put on another 2 to 3 more fermenters on there to keep up with some demand that we need. So we make everything in-house. It's a steam-heated system, which was a benefit of being in Akron, which when we were looking at Monroe Falls, we'd have to go with an electric system there because it was a smaller facility. We're just going to do a 3-barrel, and the energy costs would have been substantially higher than what we pay now. And since the city of Akron's heated with steam, I don't have a boiler. I just buy my steam directly off the city, and they take the condensate water back, and that's used to heat buildings.
That's interesting.
So it's very
efficient.
it's wallet friendly to pay for steam
I was gonna say.
here in Akron. It's not that expensive, and steam's really efficient on a 7-barrel and upsize just due to the turnaround time to bring everything up to a boil. So we haven't had any issues getting a boil within about 35-40 minutes of moving over from a sparge into the tank.
All right. Well, I think what we're going to do next is come back and my favorite part of the show, taste the beers. See what Mark has to offer here at Missing Falls. All right, my favorite part of the show, but we're going to mix it up a little bit this time. This is the tasting episode of Missing Falls, and we got some pizzas here. Will, new to the show, he's really loving this gig right now. Will, tell us about this pizza, but first, you used to make pizzas as a kid.
Yeah, I worked at a pizza shop, Rocco's Pizza, for years as a kid.
Rocco's, yeah.
Yeah, this was pizza that I always made for my friends when I was in high school, and They heard we were opening up and we're going to serve pizzas, and they just blew up our social media until we put this one on the menu. And they always called it the Will Special back then, so it's what it's named today.
The Will Special.
Yeah.
Tell us about it. What's on it?
So it's we just start with a regular pizza crust, and we coat the crust with like an olive oil, kind of herb sauce, and then it's got pepperoni, cheese, and then we put a little swirl of marinara on top of it.
Okay.
Kind of gives you the best of both worlds.
What about this one down here?
That is the buffalo chicken pizza. So it doesn't have any red sauce. We use our buffalo sauce on it. It's got cheddar cheese, chicken, and kind of a cross hatching of ranch on the top of it there. It's one of the most popular pizzas we have.
All right. And now you get to eat. We get to drink beer.
Yeah.
All right, Mark. Your turn. Let's talk about the beers.
Well,
What beers are we going to taste?
These are 8 of our 16 that we currently have on draft. You'll be lucky enough with that one there to have 17. So
It's a great beer.
first we got on the left here, this is Terra of the Seven Seas. This is the 2019, we won a silver medal in the Ohio Craft Brewers Cup for the Imperial IPA on this one. It's
Twist my arm.
It's got 177 IBUs, 7.7% alcohol. The IBUs hide pretty well in there. We did leave a residual sweetness with a lot of honey in the back end.
All right. And the next one.
This is we won a gold medal on this one. Same thing, the Ohio Craft Brewers Cup. This is Langard, our Irish Red. So we're just about officially in season for this one.
Doesn't look totally red. Got a little reddish tint to it.
Got a little reddish tint. We got some bright lights on.
Is that maybe coming off of Will's side?
But that one there's a nice smooth malt forward beer.
Absolutely. Smooth.
And those two are some of our #1 sellers right there. This would be another one that we do move a lot of. This one's called Mango Rehab. This is a West Coast style IPA. We infuse it with mangoes, and then at the tail end we use just a touch of some habanero pepper. We actually take the capsaicin level of it down so the heat's not there, but you do get the flavor of the pepper, and just a tiny residual bite of heat at the end. But nothing you probably won't notice unless you take 3 or 4 sips.
Oh, one. Oh, yeah, I used to taste it on the first sip.
Took us a while to get that level just right.
And the actual stinging part will be at the very tail end, and you may just feel it just a tiny bit on the back of your throat. I mean, we wanted to use the flavor of the habanero in with that, but not have a heat level so great to where you're only going to want one of them.
One of them.
Number 4, this one here is
Yeah,
really,
I get a little bit of that. Right there.
The back
Yeah.
of your throat.
Right back
the
here.
very end,
Back
when
to-
everything,
yeah.
just when you think you're done. This is called There Be Dragons Here. This is our ESB, or English Strong Bitters. Neither strong nor bitter, as the name might imply. That's not what the ESB really means in there. That was just how they kind of referred to their beers, as sessionable or, being strong.
Now, did you have to
bitters.
stay true to that name just to stay true?
The ESBs really, they're not high in IBUs. It's just one of those names where you just mistake the word bitters for it's going to taste bitter. It's a nice, another smooth malt forward beer. All right, next is Out Come the Wolves. This is our New England.
Juicy.
Tried to keep it juicy, tried to keep it hazy. Can't see through it.
Where I come from, we call it juicy.
Oh yeah,
Can you
that's-
say juicy?
Yeah, you will. There's definitely a hop presence in there. We're usually pretty heavy-handed with all our hops.
Goes good with bacon and eggs. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that one's a big hop flavor on that.
Oh, did I pour beer in there? I'm sorry. I thought it was juice. It is juicy. Mark, that's good stuff. I don't know where we go from here.
Well, now we're going to start getting, well, 2 of the 3, we're going to start getting into the adult beers here.
Oh, these are, oh, I see.
Yeah, these are pre-gamers.
Pre-gamers?
This one, well, actually, let's just start here so we can walk in proper. This is our German Pilsner. Pretty straightforward, easy cut, so long, and thanks for all the pills.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, someday we'll make shorter beer names.
You guys drink this while you brew?
Sometimes.
Makes sense.
Most of the time, just Mad Dog 2020. No. But if you're gonna, you might as well.
We have a malt liquor you could try too.
Malt liquor.
We do. We have a 11% craft malt liquor.
And it's goat malt liquor, probably,
It's-
instead of bull.
It's there. It's Billy D. Williams all the way. Well, yeah, that's a real popular beer we have here. That's one, since it's a lager, it takes us a little more time for production, and it just seems to go faster than we can produce it a lot of the times. Well, some equipment adjustments, a couple more fermenters, we'll catch up to that.
Okay.
All right, now we step in. This is going to be in Bruges. This is our Belgian quad.
All right.
This is a really big, strong beer. You're gonna get a lot of esters in there. You're gonna get some bubble gum, some clove, hints of banana.
Some bubble gum.
And that's gonna come out 10.3% alcohol. It hides its alcohol pretty well, but definitely is a flavorful quad.
Yes, it does. Bubble gum. Man. It's amazing how when you get old, you revert back to old things. You know, the things when you were younger.
Well, that's just some of the byproducts that the yeast will leave us in the flavor. And
You
in
know,
the beer.
you know what I'd like you to do? I'd like you to make me a beer that tastes nothing but like orange Tootsie Pops.
I would.
See, you notice how I was stuck on the juice.
Yeah.
I like orange juice
We
because
did.
it's a breakfast food.
Yeah, we took our golden ale one cycle. We did infuse it with a lot of blood orange, and that came out almost like a sun-kissed quality to it, like an old orange soda taste
That
to
one
it.
flew out of here.
And that sold really well too.
Okay.
And last but not least, the big one.
Is that
No.
so? No.
This one here. This would be Winter Night Stout. This is our Russian Imperial Stout. We got on this one, let's see, what's there?
10.6.
10.6% alcohol. We actually let this beer age roughly a year before we tap
Really?
into it. Yeah. So we currently about last month or a month before, I think we made this beer again, and that will be available in 2021.
See.
So,
So you get a little overprotective of this one.
it just seems when it sits, it just gets better. And that's something we've always done with this beer, even as home brewers. We just make it,
chuck
let
it back.
sit, and just drink half of that lot and make it again, save it, for even longer. And that's just your really big traditional Russian Imperial Stout.
Kerm, you're gonna like that one. That's very good. My. I have a rough job. What kind of activities do you have? Entertainment here?
Yeah,
Do you do?
yeah, so-
I've seen you on your website. You do euchre games.
Yeah, we actually tonight starts our pre-summer league of euchre. Starts tonight. I think we got about 10 or 11 teams involved that'll meet every Wednesday. It's always been a great hit for Wednesdays is our euchre league nights. Tuesdays is we do Sparkle Trivia on Tuesdays. We got games at 7, games at 8 o'clock. It's free to play. Prizes can be won. We are just about finished with our arcade out front, so we have a full line of video games. We'll have some air hockey out there, got some pinball machines, and we should be starting a pinball night, hopefully on Monday nights. We get our pinball league rolling. We do a steel tip dart league that coincides sometimes on Wednesdays and Thursdays, depending what night it's ours. And the league travels from pub to pub. So,
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
That's
they're
cool.
here
Now,
for a few nights.
Is it the
not
all
here.
Akron type?
Yeah, it's local around
Okay.
here. And also on Thursdays, we do our Taco Thursday nights, where it's 3 hard or 3 soft tacos, a pint of beer, $10. Best price in town.
And
Don't
they're
get any better than
delicious.
that.
And well, Fridays are Fridays. Yeah, you shouldn't need entertained.
No.
You should
not
be
really.
happy you're done working all the week. Come out and enjoy it. Every Sunday, we brew in front of a live audience. We normally start about 9 in the morning, but when we open at 11, we're just coming out of sparge into the boil, so you can watch us finish off the beer, and the place really
great.
smells good.
You guys listen to Neil Diamond and brew beer.
Some Pat Benatar, too.
Pat Benatar?
Yeah.
Okay. Just, she's, she's okay. She's okay for.
We're
No,
also,
normally you
we're the-
walk in, it's probably going to, if it's just us here before hours, it'll probably be some Slayer, some Metallica, or some Korn
A
going.
little five-finger death punch.
A little something to
maybe?
wake you up in the morning. That's early at 9, especially on a weekend when you should be at home.
Yeah.
We're also the home for the Akron Canton Spurs. They're the Tottenham Hotspurs soccer team over in the UK. We are the home team or home base for those guys. So every Saturday or Sunday morning they play pretty early. We'll open up for them. We show other games as well for the EPL. Serve breakfast if it's an early game. Do a lot of good stuff with that.
It's a good time by all, and we encourage sports. We're kind of themed a bit like a sports brewery. We've got plenty of televisions. We've got just about every game we could get gets put up on the televisions here.
And Akron is growing to the point
Yeah,
of.
Akron's doing what Kent, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Columbus, Pittsburgh, they're pretty much renovating out the city to bring folks back downtown and make it family friendly again. And it's going to take several more years. There's always unforeseens with construction, but when it's all said and done, it's really going to be something down here. And Akron will be a place you want to come down and spend the day.
Good deal. Well, you gave us a pretty good array of why you should come down now.
Yeah, definitely.
Enjoy some great pizzas, some great beer, and just a fun atmosphere altogether. We'd like to thank you both, Will and Mark, for having us here today.
Our pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
Yep.
This was a good time on OH-Brew. All right, patrons, we like to talk to them at OH-Brew. Joining us now is,
Naomi Schukert.
and Naomi, tell me why you like coming here.
Well, they have delicious beer.
Delicious beer. And what kind of beer are you drinking?
Right now I'm drinking Langard,
Okay.
although my true favorites here are their IPAs,
You like
which
their
I have
IPAs?
several of, yes.
Okay.
But I do get around in the beers, so I try different
You
kinds.
like to go all different craft breweries in Ohio, only in Ohio?
I do, but this is my favorite.
Okay. Well, that's good. Should be your
It
favorite.
is. Yeah.
All right. And why should everybody else come here?
Well, the owners are amazing. They're all very kind gentlemen. Their beer is delicious. The atmosphere is great. We're here tonight for Euchre. Was here last night for trivia, so lots of events.
Is that your partner for Euchre, or was that your partner
This
that was
is my
sitting
partner
here?
for Euchre.
Okay. I checked that guy for cards in his pocket. I didn't check anybody else. But they have lots of great beer and a lot of fun here at Missing Falls Brewery. You'll want to check it out. All right. At OH-Brew, once again, we always like to talk to our patrons. We're going to talk to another one right now. This gentleman's name's PJ. He works Goodyear. I mean, do they make footballs?
No, we
No?
make tires.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We make tires. We make the best tires.
Best tires.
Best tires out there.
All right. PJ likes to drink beer just like this guy right here. And he is always here
little
for
bit.
the beer. And tell us a little bit about how all this come about.
So I was in school about a year ago when they opened, and I needed a place to go that's quiet. So I know the owners, and I came down here before they'd open up, sit in this seat, do my homework all day long, go home, come to bed, go to work, come back next day, repeat process. So I did that for the last 2 semesters of my school career.
Drink beer and
I
do
always had
homework.
beer with me. Yep. So I was a fixture here. I was here 6 days a week, give or take.
Man, my mom would be so upset if I did it that way. I had a hard enough
I got
time.
through school.
I had a hard enough time studying without beer, let alone with beer. But
That
hey,
works. Yep.
it might have helped.
It
Might have
did.
helped the
It made it
process.
tolerable.
He's got his own mug. It says PJ only.
I
What's
do.
your favorite type of beer here?
Brutus, by far.
Brutus?
They actually make it for me.
All right.
And I've got, I believe, the only keg in the world over at my house right now.
All right.
Until they make more.
Very cool. Well, thanks, PJ, for
Thank you.
talking to
Appreciate
us
it.
today.
Take care.
And if you're ever in Missing Falls Brewery, make sure you get your picture taken with this and then send him $1. $1.
Help my
And
college fund.
I get half that. No, I
We'll work
don't.
something out.
But thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us for today's episode of O-Brew. We'd like to thank everyone here at Missing Falls Brewery for their great hospitality. You'll want to check this place out. They've got some great food along with some great beers for you to enjoy. We'd also like to thank Rick Mason of Beer and Ale Traveler for being one of our sponsors here on O-Brew. We'd also like to remind you that at O-Brew, you know what we're in search of? We're in search of Ohio's finest beers.